Welcome to the debut episode of the 513 podcast. My name is Bryson. I'm one of the hosts, one of the main hosts here on the podcast. I'm joined by Nick, also known as Bengal Storm.
Yeah, hello, I'm Nick Nickel, otherwise known as Bengal Storm on Twitter, TikTok, Instagram. Should definitely follow both of us and follow the third member who won't be here for this segment, Burrow the Curo on Twitter, but it's finally great to start this up. We're going to have a lot of interviews with players, a lot of discussion over this off season, and as we go into training camp and preseason and the regular season, just a lot of stuff to talk about.
There is a ton of stuff to talk about. We just got finished with the draft just about a week ago, so we can discuss that. Free agency's kind of wrapped up, and we're looking forward to OTAs, getting to talk to some of these guys that are willing to chat with us. Some guests that you're going to expect here in the near future. Delonte Hood. Is it Delonte Hood? Delonte Hood. He'll be on in the next segment of this episode, so you can expect him. Undrafted free agent out of Peru State. We just got Eli Apple. We're really excited about that. Hopefully, you guys are as well.
Yeah, some other players you guys should be excited to see coming up in the near future include Bengals safety Michael Thomas and linebacker Clay Johnston. Great personalities, great locker room people. Excited to see what they have to say in the coming weeks.
Very excited. It's finally giving us a chance to go inside of that locker room per se and get an idea of the personalities of all of our guys and what they think about everybody. So we're gonna kick things off here talking about the draft, and we're gonna start with Daxton Hill, the number 31st overall pick out of Michigan. What are your thoughts on Daxton?
Well, at first with Daxton, I think the entire Bengals community was set up between, okay, we either get Tyler Linderbaum or we get Andrew Booth. Booth was available, Karlaftis and Linderbaum were taken, so they're like, all right, this has to be the guy. They announced Daxton Hill. I think at first 5 minutes, everyone was in shock. And they started looking at him, saying he can play safety, slot corner. I mean, it could even be the middle of this year. He could find a starting role somewhere, whether it's injury or maybe even trade Jesse Bates in the trade deadline. But this guy has so much diversity in his role on the team that he can play anywhere. And I think that's a great place to be as a rookie.
It is, and like you said, very versatile. I think he ran a 4.38 40, which is very exciting for that defense, especially now that we have some mobile quarterbacks in the group. No more Ben Roethlisberger. You bring in Mitch Trubisky, who's a scrambling type quarterback, and then obviously Deshaun Watson's very fast, and then of course you have Lamar Jackson, who could play running back. Honestly, he does it both. He can pass, he can run. He's probably the biggest threat in our division, in my opinion. So to get a guy like that who can play box, spy on Jackson, and also read him very well is going to be very exciting and help out this defense. And that's what Lou Anarumo has been trying to do. We're trying to build this defense around to attack Lamar, because Lamar was always our number one rival. He was first in the North in 2019. I think they were second last year, but still very, very good. So we finally got to him a bit this year, and obviously went on to win the division. We played him once, beat his ass. So I mean, it worked this year with a healthy defense that we had. Now adding Daxton Hill to this group is going to be very exciting. Going on now to Cam Taylor-Britt, cornerback out of Nebraska.
Yeah, I think this one is a lot of people's favorite pick, not just because of the cool name. I always love players with a three-worded name, but
talk about Daxton Hill. That's a fantastic name. I love that name for safety. All right, continue.
Yeah, but this guy, Cam Taylor-Britt, even though he was one of the few players that looked like an all-star for the Nebraska Cornhuskers last year. Dude, whether it was Chris Olave or Michigan, some of the best schools in the country, he played a cornerback one for Alabama or one of the best in the draft, actually. I mean, his coverage, his size, his speed,
The range is huge.
Yep. His athleticism, it's all you want with a cornerback, and with that, I'd be surprised if this guy doesn't beat Eli Apple for week 1, if not by mid-season.
Depending on how the season go, you're absolutely right. This guy's very smart, very fast. I think he also was in the 4.3, maybe 4.4 40, which is insane. Like Jamar Chase ran a 4.4 40 at LSU, I believe. 4.4 4.38. I can't remember which one it was. But you see how fast Jamar is. Now imagine that on a defensive back of Cam Taylor-Britt like corner. It excites me. Again, very fast for that defense, which is what we're looking for. Very versatile. Probably going to play primarily outside, but you can put him in at the slot if we needed to, and that's what we really tried to attack here in the draft was versatility, and that leads us into Zach Carter out of Florida, who played both edge and probably will play edge in the NFL. Also can play a little bit of D tackle.
Yeah, for Zach Carter, I mainly see him as a defensive tackle. From what I saw, what I've heard from Florida Gator fans, this guy plays his best football inside. 7.5 sacks in his last season for Florida, so that says a lot. He played in the SEC, so he definitely had a lot of NFL talent. His best game, surprisingly, was against Evan Neal in Alabama, so I think it shows a lot of how good this guy can be, even though I had him as like a 4th round, 5th round grade. This guy can be a great Larry Ogunjobi replacement.
And, we've hit on our 3rd round picks the past couple years. Obviously, we haven't seen Joseph Asai come into play yet, but very hyped up guy. And then in 2020, we had Logan Wilson, who's obviously our best linebacker in that core, played very like a Pro Bowl level last year. Probably going to play another great season, especially after finally getting that shoulder figure out. And then in 2019, another linebacker in Jermaine Pratt, who played fantastic for us last year as well. So you really got to trust our guys and what they're doing. And it's like late 3rd, getting into that 4th round. So you're not going to have the best guys available. But a guy like Zach Carter, I think it's going to be a boom or bust pick to me, in my opinion. Very high upside, very low downside. It just depends on who he is and what he's going to come out to do against that. He's going to get some good practice on that O-line. Which now leads us into that offensive line. Cordell Volson out of Nebraska State, I think, or was it North Dakota State?
North Dakota State.
North Dakota State in the FCS, I believe.
Yeah, this guy, he played in the FCS, but as you've seen, there's been a lot of NFL talent coming from that.
Trey Lance, North Dakota State, Carson Wentz.
Even like in Easton Stick. But it just shows there's NFL talent there, and I think that's good because this Cordell Volson guy, he was killing every single guy in front of him on every block.
Mm-hmm.
Looked like he wanted to have pancakes for breakfast. Just glass eater, whatever you want to call him. This guy is primed to be a starter for us. It could be this year. It could be next year. I just see a huge role coming up for him. It could be in guard or offensive tackle, which shows, again, we got a lot of versatility in this draft. A lot of plays you can put in different positions.
Yeah, for real. In my opinion, this is our best pick of the draft, value-wise, coming in late 4. You get a starter potential player in Cordell Volson who's really going to challenge Jackson Carman this offseason, this training camp. Probably, I'm going to say it. He's going to start at guard and he's going to play very well. He's going to be like the Creed Humphrey of this draft. Not as good as Creed Humphrey, but he's going to be, that shocker that everybody didn't expect out of Creed. He has a bunch of upside. And if you want to go and attack Quentin Spain, which we'll get into later, very good mentor.
Yeah, he took his number for a reason. So if you can have those Quentin Spain type blocks, and maybe even Try to be that guy in the locker room.
And not to mention, he's got one of the best damn offensive line coaches in the NFL, Frank Pollock. So we'll see what he can do there. Going into the fifth round pick, Tyson Anderson, safety out of Toledo. My man, Tyson Anderson. Talk about him.
I mean, this guy, for all the guys we drafted, he is the fastest guy we had, being a 4.36 Ohio native from Toledo, but he's just, I mean, you can put him anywhere, free or strong safety. He's not as versatile as the previous picks, but still, if you need him somewhere, I bet you can put him there. But insane athleticism and insane speed. I mean, I can see this guy becoming a starter with us between him and Daxton Hill. Those two can be the next Bates and Von Bell duo for years to come.
Yeah, talking about that duo, they're both up for a contract extension, I think, after this year. So we'll see how that goes. Again, very high upside with him, and that's what we were looking for in this draft. Versatile, high upside, one of those two. Love him out of Toledo. He's very fast, can cover a lot of ground. Again, another starter potential player. Really love the pick here. Going into the seventh round, our final pick at 252, we took Jeff Gunter, who's become a fan favorite here in Cincinnati.
Yeah, I mean, I think defensive end, I think that is the most loaded position we have now with adding Jeffrey Gunter, Joseph Osai, Wyatt Hubert. There's a lot of guys coming to a young core of Cam Sample, Khalid Kareem, a lot of depth, and then you have those starters, Sam Hubbard, Trey Hendrickson. I mean, just adding Gunter into the mix, he's insane pass rushing, has a lot of moves. He's probably infamous for that play of him and another Coastal Carolina player just killing Zach Wilson on a play. But besides that, he is insane. I wouldn't be surprised if he gets in the rotation early in his career as a Bengal.
If he does get into a rotation, that stack rotation, you mentioned Cam Sample, one of my favorites from last year, one of my most underrated from last year. He had a fantastic season. I think I can't remember how many sacks he was. It was like 3 or 4, which is insane considering he was our fourth round pick. He created pressure, and he created it well. And he's repping that 96 too. Carlos Dunlap, kind of really who reminds me of. So he gets a lot of practice in that room with Jeffrey Gunter, who can, create pressure, do all the things we need him to do. Which, edge depth never hurts. He can make the team. He might not make the team. You never really know at this point. We'll see what they have in him in OTAs, which I think start next week.
Yep. I mean, rookie minicamp starts.
Yeah, rookie minicamps.
Just start going more and more through OTA phases throughout the month.
Yep, I feel like, OTA will go until mid-June, I believe. So, talking about the undrafted free agents, who's your favorite and why?
I mean, I like a lot of them. I mean, there's just so many talented players I had actual round grades for. But if I had to choose one guy, Ole Miss guard / center Ben Brown. This guy, 4th, 5th round pick. I still have no idea how he became an undrafted free agent, but I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if this guy makes it on the roster as a backup center, one of the backup guards left or right. I mean, just a lot of upside for the guy. I don't know what else to say about him. He's just really good.
Absolutely, and I kind of feel obligated to say Delonte Hood here gives us some more depth in that cornerback room. See what we got in him. Jack Sorensen out of Miami's also did pretty well for them. Again, we're looking for that. Looking for that 4th receiver, and Jack Sorensen's it, and Jack Sorensen's that. Juster Brigg, tight end out of Kentucky, gives us, again, more competition. Shamari Jones joins Jeffrey Gunter out of that Coastal Carolina group, and that my personal favorite, Cal Adamitis, long snapper out of Pittsburgh. He's my guy. He is my guy. Don't let anybody else tell you. I love Clark Harrison, but this is Clark Harrison 2.0, if we needed one.
Cal is what Dan Godsell was supposed to be with us before he unexpectedly retired a few years ago.
Don't know who that is, being honest with you, but I'm sure he was supposed to be really good.
25-foot center on the practice squad like every single year, and then out of nowhere just retired.
Sick of getting that practice squad money, I'm sure. Well, let's get to this free agent class. Quentin Spain, big one, just talked about, adding a potential starter to that line never hurts anybody. Solidifying that left guard spot. He had a rough Super Bowl, very rough Super Bowl, probably his worst game, a rough game against Tennessee. Didn't have the best postseason, but, I mean, when you look at our line, nobody had a great postseason.
Yeah, I think with Quentin Spain, you really have to consider he came off I believe, an ankle injury from the Chiefs game just 3 weeks before our first playoff game against the Raiders, and he came back already.
Yeah, you're right. I forgot about that.
He was playing through an injury, he didn't have to face weak defensive tackles. He had Jeffrey Simmons, Chris Jones, and Aaron Donald. I mean, that's a tough that's something tough to ask any guard. Nonetheless, guard that just came off an injury, so I respect him for playing and just trying to help us win. I think
he did just that
in the locker room. So, I mean, I would love it if we have him back. Just bring in more competition. I know you don't know what you're going to get from Coleman. He had so many ups but so many downs. The definition of inconsistent. Bolston, you don't know what you're getting. Deontay Smith, you don't know what you're getting. I know Ted Karras and Jonah Williams will really help him, but it's just great to have more options.
Yeah, it brings me to the point with Quentin Spain. Bring him back. The goal last year was never for him to be our best offensive lineman, but that's what he was, and he did it pretty damn well. I was pretty proud of how he played and what he did for us. But now that you got that help around him, he doesn't have to carry this unit like he did. Just give him some help around him. He won't look as bad. He will excel, and he fits our scheme very well, our run zone scheme.
Yeah, I don't know what else to say with him. He overplayed what I think the coaches expected, and I think that's great for him. But there's a lot of other options in free agency, not just that offensive line we can go. We didn't go tight end in the draft. I love Mitch Wilcox. I think everyone still loves Thaddeus Moss. Drew Sample, he's a great blocking tight end. So
Drew Sample, don't sleep on Drew Sample. I'm just saying he had a great 2020 in my opinion. He dropped a few balls, obviously, but that's not what he was brought here to do. In my opinion, probably the backup tight end next year. Pretty solid. That's all he needs to be. Is a backup tight end. You just need to be pretty solid. I love that blocking type that Zach Taylor brings. He loves his white tight ends, honestly. So, just go out and do your job. He'll be due for a contract extension after this year, so we'll see if he earns it or not. Maybe 1-year deal, but he could absolutely light out, take Hayden Hurst's spot, and just go bonkers.
Yeah, but as I was saying, I was just this. If we did bring in any position, it'd be tight end. I mean, I don't expect.
Brock is still out there. Just saying, stir that up.
I just don't expect any more big-time free agents. Not because, the coaches don't care about the roster. No, it's just...
Sign Odell Beckham.
Yeah, but the roster's complete, though. That's a good problem to have. There's a lot of young talent we've built in the draft, and we've gotten a bunch of veteran free agents that are here for multiple years.
Oh, absolutely. That's what I loved about our building.
There's nothing else you can do. I mean, obviously, you can improve in depth in some places, but you don't need to get some 30-year-old free agent.
In my opinion, outside of left guard, we're set for starting.
And even left guard, we have a second-round pick from last year that
high upside
is working every single day, trying to be as good as he can next year.
Yeah, not regarding those allegations that came out. Probably nothing going to happen with him anyway, so unless charges are pressed, he'll be there.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm excited to
I'm
see what
really
Ted Cross.
excited.
The first few videos that I saw, Ted Cross of him, Bengals doing whatever, eating the Gold Star chili.
Yeah,
He's gonna quickly become a locker room favorite. I can already tell. He looks like a dad. He acts like a dad. Probably is a dad. Don't really know.
yeah, it's
He's
just
young too.
this off
I think he's
season
only in his 20s.
but this off season we just filled in all the needs we needed: center, right guard, right tackle. The entire secondary, I feel like, got so much better, and then re-signed a few plays. That's how you maintain a Super Bowl winning roster. I mean, we didn't win the Super Bowl, but we sure acted like we did by getting some players back and improving upon it.
Yeah, and obviously we're not going to do it. The Rams didn't just trade capital. We're still building. People don't understand that. We are still in the rebuild phase. Last year, call it a fluke. It's not a fluke. It's just a bunch of luck. All right? Nobody expected us to do what we did last year. Me, personally, I didn't even expect a playoff appearance last year. At most, I thought we were going to get a playoff. Nobody expected a Super Bowl run. The coaching staff, they wanted it. Don't know if they expected it. They expected it going in another building block, see what we can get done. Get a winning record was my personal goal, but we're still rebuilding. We had a bunch of cap space, use it to our advantage, got some free agents here, trying to build up that market of Cincinnati. And again, more young talent. Just really all there is to it.
Yeah, I think you said it best. It's just people thought, like, power rankings at this time last year, we were bottom 5 in all of them. So
There's somebody who had us taken first overall pick in one of the mock drafts last year.
Yep.
Early 2022 mock drafts. It was insane.
Just seen us take that huge jump, and technically we're still in this rebuilding phase. It's just now everyone on the team has more experience with winning, which is great because there won't be any more Mike White games, but
yeah. We'll say that. As long as we don't have to play Andy Dalton, we won't lose any big, stupid games like we did with the Bears. It feels like Andy Dalton just comes in and beats the shit out of us no matter what.
We do play the Saints. So.
We do play the Saints. If Andy Dalton wins that job, then good luck. All right, that'll do it for this segment. We'll be back after this with Delonte Hood or somebody else, but as of now, it's Delonte Hood. Thank you guys for listening to the first segment. We'll be right back on the other side. Welcome back to the 513 podcast. We're here with special guest Delonte Hood, undrafted free agent out of Peru. How you doing, Delonte?
I'm doing good.
Good to hear. I guess we'll get started right away. My first question for you is, what are your thoughts on the DB room? It's kind of filled. We got Chidobe Awuzie, CB1, projectedly Eli Apple, and then just added Cam Taylor-Britt.
I feel like our DB room is talented, and hopefully we can band together and become one of the top units in the league, and move on, progress from there. And also, can't wait to get to meet him and learn the playbook, stuff like that.
Do you think you have strengths in that DB room, and if so, what is it?
Do I have strengths?
Well, what do you guys think as a unit you guys are capable of?
Are you talking about like man coverage and zone coverage, stuff like that?
Yeah, just in general. Like, what do you think you're, as a DB room in general, what do you think you can do to get done? What do you think you can get done?
I don't really know yet because I didn't meet any of the other DBs. I probably have a better answer for you down the line, but I know myself, think I'm good all around. And like I said, I don't even know, what my strength is and, going to be on this defense yet. But I know it's going to be a great outcome, positive outcome.
All right. First question, guys. How do you think it'll be making the jump from a small college like Peru State to a NFL team that made the Super Bowl last year?
like I was saying before, I know some talented players on the team, and for me, it would be just to mainly focus on adjusting and being a sponge when I come in, and being the best fit to the team and the coaches, and also being the best player I could be in myself.
All right. Another question for you. What's it like going through film session, or what was it like going through film sessions in college, and how do you expect it to change for the NFL?
Well, in college, it was very detailed. We planned for upcoming receivers and adjusting to teams' game plan and things like that. I mean, when I was in college, knowing what our scripts was, but I think in the NFL, it's more like a copycat league. So whatever your weaknesses are, other teams will try to exploit those same weaknesses. So I think it will be mainly about learning the strength of the defense that I'm on, and our game plan and our best fits and things like that. Going into each team and knowing what our previous mistakes were to correct those, and also also still breaking down a receiver to as much as I can.
All right. We were talking about this a bit when we were in like DMs, but why are you just wanting to wear the number 3 when you do come to Cincinnati?
Mainly because that was the last number that I wore. I have good friends and previous teammates that wore the number 3, so I think that, if I am fortunate enough to wear the number 3, that it will suit me well, and I'll live up to the standards of having it.
All right. Next question for you. Did you meet with any teams during the combine? If you participated, I didn't really keep up with it much. And what was it? If so, what was it like, and what questions did they ask?
During my pro day, I met up with at least 13 teams, and I think that was mainly after I ran my 40, but they were just trying to get to know my background and things like that. They wanted to know the transformation from Glenville State. I played at Toledo also and Peru State. Most of them have already came to see me during the season, so I conversated with them throughout 2021 season. And it was just a teaching lesson from all of them. But I think a lot of the teams were interested in me, but me and my agent made a decision to choose Cincinnati because of the culture and the chance to compete there.
Speaking of the culture, has any captain or any player in general reached out to you yet?
Only one I'm familiar with is Tyson Anderson. We've talked, and I think I talked to our cornerback coach and our defensive coordinator the most so far. I haven't reached out to any players or vice versa.
What are your expectations for Lou Anarumo and that defense, and your defensive coach, defensive backs coach?
Expectations?
Yeah, or just general thoughts, really.
I just expect to be able to compete for a spot and show the team what I have, as well as the defense. That's all the expectations I have for now.
All right, Nick, go ahead.
All right, this is the last question I got. What are you, obviously we brought in 13 undrafted free agents and there's a loaded cornerback room. What are you trying to do to stand yourself out from the rest of the team? Because I think the team's really good at bringing undrafted free agents and letting them have opportunities. I believe we have 3 or 4 from last year actually that was on our 53-man roster at one point.
You said, what are my thoughts on the undrafted free agents?
What do you think? I mean, how do you think you can stand yourself out from the rest of the people competing for a roster spot?
Well, I think mainly it will be my, first of all, hard work and dedication towards, this game and doing what I've always done. Like I said, competing, being on, just being the best I can be, giving 100%. I think that will stand me out. I don't think, I think I have a different mindset compared to the other undrafted free agents.
All right. That was my final questions. Do you have any thoughts or opinions that you want to get out there right now?
Not any right now.
I'd love to have you back on too after your OTAs are complete and recap and talk about what that was like and get some knowledge on NFL camps per se.
Yeah, that'll be. I'll be willing to do that as well.
All right, man. Sounds good. Nick, you have any final questions?
No, that's all I got.
All right, everybody. That was Delonte Hood. Thank you so much, Delonte. Hope to
Yes,
have you
sir.
back.
Thank you.